On on strikers, Arsenal obviously we were told first of all it was I won't say we were told as football fans that it was a £60 million bid for Watkins. The same outlet that broke that, or the same individual, the secret scout that broke it, has said that personal terms have been agreed. Villa have obviously gone and sold Duran, and he's done his medical. He's off to Saudi. Unai Emery has come out today and has stated that the player wants to stay. The player isn't going to leave. This is in conjunction with stories that Arsenal may bid again. How do you guys view this situation? Some people think it's Arsenal PR. They knew they were never going to get him. They put the bid in to show fans they tried. There are some that think he does want to leave, but of course, publicly, he's going to say he wants to stay because he might have to. Could you see a scenario where a big bid comes in, say 70 million, 80 million, and they do let him leave, even though Duran's gone? How do you all see this circumstance panning out over the next 3 days?
He's staying at Villa, I think, at this point. There's no way after getting all that money for Duran. They seem to be a club that I'd say have some ambition. I don't think they're going to sell for just the sake of, okay, this money's too good to turn down. Like, if they was to sell Duran and Watkins in the same window, it'd be disastrous. They could forget about Europe, especially this late in the window. They was already quite upset, apparently, with Arsenal for bidding for Watkins on the same day they had a big Champions League game. They was fuming, reportedly, which is interesting. I mean, it's the window. You know, you could, in Arsenal's defence, I mean, the window's open the whole month. So what, are they supposed to not put bids in just because you're playing? So, but yeah, I can't see it. I think Watkins, he's supposed to be an Arsenal fan. I'm sure he wouldn't mind going to Arsenal, but look, he seems to be enjoying his football. He seems to be happy at Villa. Like, I don't think that he's going to really, really push to go just because, I supported them as a kid. So I can't see any scenario where this deal happens. When Arsenal, finances seem to be sticky for them. And I don't know whether it's PSR or just the Cronkies don't want to spend like that right now. So I don't think they're going to drop anywhere near the sort of money that it would take to get Watkins out of Aston Villa. So I think at this point, it's over. They need to move on from that.
Bro, if they really wanted this guy, they would have bidded for him at the beginning. Let's be real. You know what I'm saying? This reminds me of how they tried to, go in for Caicedo at Brighton. They knew they were never going to get him for that price. They didn't really come back in again for him when they were asking for a bigger price, bigger fee even. And then, with this Watkins thing with Duran going, listen, right now, Villa are going to extort the fuck out of them because whoever Villa goes to next are going to be asking for even more money because they'll see how desperate they are. They'll be looking at Villa and saying, yo, what? You sold Duran and now you sold Ollie. Yeah. Whoever you're coming in for now, we're going to add extra 20 million because we can see how desperate you are. So they're not really gaining anything out of selling Watkins right now. And for him, he's built a bit of a relationship with the Villa fans, the club and that. He'll be leaving them in a serious problem right now, in a serious problem. So you have to think about that side of things as well. So I just don't see it right now, man. If we'll start at the window, potentially, but because there's so little time left, who can they get right now to replace Ollie Watkins?
Yeah, I mean, there is a report that's out that says there's an interesting one here that has stated that Barcelona have decided that the arrival of Rashford this transfer window is practically impossible. They are close to pulling out the race. Aston Villa are interested. So there are some reports that Villa are looking at different players, João Felix, Marcus Rashford, etc. But I do agree with you from a Villa perspective. Let's just say they go and get João Felix from you and Rashford, and they allow Watkins and Duran to leave. I mean, the Villa fans are going to feel like they've been robbed. Even if those rumors are true, it doesn't make sense to me. One of the big things, Staffy, that Arsenal being accused of by a percentage of their own fans is that this was purely PR. They knew they had no chance of getting it done, even if they've agreed personal terms. Even if that part's true, they knew it was never going to happen, and they're doing it so they can say, we tried, but we just got told no. Do you see this as a PR stunt from Arsenal?
I mean, can you blame them from thinking that way? I can't. I'm actually annoyed, and I'm not an Arsenal fan, and I'm annoyed because we all know what the answer was. The answer was you needed a striker or an attacker in general. Okay, we've been saying that from day one. We've been saying that before the window opened. Okay, so whether you think it's PR or not, let's put that to the side right now. You doing this right now is like me trying to do my homework or submit an assignment at uni on the due date, and I'm upset that it wasn't the best work, or I didn't get the best grade, or I didn't get what I wanted because I dilly-dallied the whole time until the due date. I just decided to do it an hour before. And it's not like it's a small signing anyways. If you're going to go and try to get Ollie Watkins, who's one of the, I would say he's like comfortably top 5 in the league right now, considering that there's not a lot of good strikers right now. If you're going to go and do that, get that deal done early. Get that bid submitted early, so when it gets rejected and you go through, because that's fine. Every club rejects the first bid, but at least you give yourself some time to negotiate it. The fact that this was negotiated now and not before January even started it's embarrassing. It is embarrassing. And I'm seeing the most positive of Arsenal fans call that out. So it's not even the standards FC, as people like to say, or the people that just wanted to get clicks off negativity or whatever. It is actually embarrassing. I mean, like, what makes it even worse is that it got rejected, and then an hour later or so, Duran is going to Saudi Arabia, which makes now that deal even more impossible. So it's like, it's not only did you get rejected, the chat was saying this earlier, and I agree with them. They said it gives us Suarez 40 million pounds plus one vibes. I agree. That's the first thing I thought of when I saw that. I was like, bro, this is Suarez all over again, because you know you're going to get rejected. And then a year later, he ended up going to Barca. Why are you doing the same thing? And now, as we said, Watkins now is the only striker. So it's not like they're going to sell him on a cheap now. What are you saying, Don? Sorry.
I said, do you think they're going to come in with a second bid? Because I don't really see it.
They could, bro. And I'll be honest, I don't think he's going to go now. I think this deal is much harder to do now. Like, if there was one club that you can try to persuade them to sell one of the strikers, it is Villa. Because I don't think anyone has depth in strikers this season like Villa. We've seen both of them bang. We've seen Duran and we've seen Watkins. You can try to get one or the other. The fact that now you're doing all this after Duran now went to Al Nassr, it just makes it more complicated. It's 10 times more complicated right now. Like, they're not going to do it.
They know what they're doing, but they know what they're fucking doing. I'm telling you.
But that's why people saying it's a PR thing to say, at least I tried. And that's not for me to judge. Arsenal fans, I'm going to leave it up to you guys, because that's your club to decide on. Well, I'm just saying, from an outside looking in, it is annoying. It is annoying to see that you know what work you needed to do and you still didn't do it. Everyone, every rival, and every Arsenal fan knew you needed an attacker. And look at the situation you're in again.
Yeah, listen, I hear that. Some breaking news here from Laurie Whitwell that Aston Villa are considering a loan move for Marcus Rashford ahead of the transfer deadline. And again, that probably is as a short-term replacement for Duran. But I suppose, again, if people believe that Watkins to Arsenal is dead or is completely PR, then they're going to ignore this element of the story. So I'm intrigued to see whether or not it comes off. There is a question here about the PR, though, which I think is a good counter. It says, if it was simply PR, why would they choose to not sign Watkins over not signing Isak? I do agree. If you're going to put a bid in that you know is going to get rejected, you bid, because you ain't got to pay it. You know, you bid under £1 million for Isak, who everybody wants and universally agrees is the superstar. Maybe, again, if it is PR, they probably picked the wrong player to do it with, because there was still a good 40% of Arsenal fans that went, but he ain't good enough anyway. So if you're going to do it purely for PR and you know that you've got no chance of signing him, they were better off putting £110 million bid in for Isak, knowing it's going to be rejected at this stage of the season. I don't necessarily think it's PR. I agree with Staffy. I see why people see it that way. I think for me, it shows a bit of incompetence at sort of board director level that they allowed it to go on this late. Who is advising them? How did they not know that Duran was so close to leaving and going, as an example? That, for me, it's the timing more than anything. I don't necessarily think this is I get the PR argument. It holds water, and it could turn out it was PR. I feel it's a bit of incompetence. And again, like I said about Chelsea earlier, Chelsea fans, I think, should be angry they haven't done more this window. I think Arsenal fans, it doesn't matter whether you're Arteta in or Arteta out. It doesn't matter if you're a toxic positive or a toxic negative, and I'm just putting them into the groups that everybody speaks about. You should all be frustrated. You should all be frustrated because it's 3 days to go of the window. You're second in the league. At any point, Liverpool could have a slip up. Are you prepared to the best of your abilities to pounce on that? You're in the knockout stage of the Champions League, and actually looking at the side of the draw they're on, fairly favourable, potentially until semi-finals, and who knows. But with a bagsman, the chances of winning it increase massively. And I do think whether it's PR or whether it's incompetence, I think it's very poor. I think the way that the Arsenal squad The manager have been treated wrong by the owners and the board, and I think the fans have been disrespected a lot with the way this has panned out. And look, if they end up getting it done, I think he's a good player, Watkins, by the way. If they end up getting it done, I don't know. And João Felix and Rashford join Villa. If he gets done, then fair enough, Arsenal. I'll pull that back and say you've pulled off a coup here. And if he delivers, it's amazing business. But I just feel like you could have put that bid in 3 weeks ago and got this player you wanted. It's crazy.
I still think it would have been difficult for them to do finance-wise. I don't know if they were going to get near, because what they offered anyway was quite a bit under Villa's valuation.
What's the Rashford bomber? Sorry, we'll come back to that. What did you say?
Ornstein just confirmed it a minute ago. Aston Villa are considering a move for Rashford on loan.
Okay. So by the way,
you got to do the thing. You got to do the thing now. So you got to do the thing, Terry, man. You do it.
Yeah. Where's the thing?
What thing?
The breaking news flash.
Oh, do you know what it is? We don't have that thing on Straight Facts, right? I'd have to change it to. I didn't have it on this one. I'd have to go to I think I've got it on the top 6 show. So I'd have to change it to the top 6 show and then press it. And then go back to Straight Facts. Yeah, we don't have it on this one. So breaking news: Aston Villa considering a move to sign Marcus Rashford on loan from Man United. 27-year-old, preference is Barcelona or United stays, so would need convincing. But Aston Villa will try and get it done. I've got to read more of what's going to be interesting is if they see this as the Duran replacement. He's more of a wide player, Rashford, rather than a central player. And they've obviously got other players they've brought in to do that. So that'll be a real, maybe this gives Arsenal fans a bit of hope here that this is a signing to change it round. I'm quite happy with that, though. I'd like Rashford to stay.
Bring them to Birmingham, people. That's flipping.
Yeah, KJ's going to be sniffing around his bins. I tell you, I like this deal.
I don't think if they got Rashford on loan, that means they would sell Watkins. I don't think so.
No way.
I agree. If it's just Rashford, then no. I'm looking at the other players they're looking at, though. If they were to get a deal done, I don't rate him, but let's look at who they're looking at. If they went and got João Felix and Rashford, then then there's a possibility, depending on their plan, because it's 2 bodies for the attack, the 2 players that have left. Rashford alone, I don't see it helping the Watkins deal. But on Rashford individually, I quite like that. I think it's a good move for Man United as well. I really, really do, because obviously he won't play against us because of the way the deal works, but it keeps him in that shop window in a really tough league. And if he goes Villa and plays well and does good, United will probably get more than the £40 million we wanted this summer. Does have the opposite effect, as you said earlier, Lawless. If he does terribly, then it probably reduces how much money we can get. But that's a situation.
One thing we have to consider, Terry, is the wage.
Tell's coming in, baby. Right now, Spurs fans are shitting themselves. Spurs fans are going, oh no.
That's gonna have an impact. But with Villa, for them to get him, they're very close to hitting the limit on what they're paying out in wages, because their wages, in terms of what they're bringing in, is very, very close. And it depends on what Man United are willing to sort of compromise on the wage package. How much they pay.
We did 80%. We're getting 80%. We're paying 20% of Anthony's as an example. I think we'll probably end up paying somewhere in the region of sort of 25 to 35% of this, because he's on quite high wages. Because we want to make it work. Because then Tell's going to come in on loan anyway. So you'll probably find if Tell comes in. Sorry, what are you saying?
No, just because Tell's gonna come in anyway.
No, but I'm saying if Tell comes, I'm very confident we can land Tell. I am, and if we bring Tell in and Rashford goes out, even if we pay 25-35% of his wages, from a financial standpoint, we're probably still better off. We're probably still paying out less wages, which is important for us because we are in financial difficulties at this moment in time.
Yeah, you are in financial difficulties. Every time I see KJ in the group chat, man's got his fucking metal bowl, shaking it, trying to get people to put money in there, bro. Even you, Staffy, as well. Don't laugh. Yeah, I see you begging for the Garnacho move as well, bro.
End of the day, like we didn't all do what your club has admitted doing, where it broke the rules and was using offshore accounts to break rules and buy players they didn't have the money for years. Like, if we'd have done what Chelsea did and broke all the rules and then grassed ourselves up, maybe we'd be in a better situation. I can't help it that we've stuck to the rules. Sorry, mate, but we can't all cheat.
Yeah, I mean, we had to find a way of doing things, you know what I'm saying? Like hotel sales and all of these things, you know what I mean? So all the players that we've managed to move out, Terry, you know what I mean? We bring in money for a lot of our players from Cobham. Yeah, what's the most you brought in? Was it Willie? Willie the other month. You sold this guy for
Pretty
what,
good.
50
Yeah,
million?
no, we know we've got to improve. We know we've had the worst owners in the league for 20 years, and we spoke about that absolutely. But at least we didn't cheat. Like that's cheating is the worst thing you can do in sport, isn't it?
Big up Roman for that, man. Big up Roman for that.
So you support cheating? You think cheating's good?
Of course I don't. Of course I don't.
There we go. Then there we go.
We paid the fee.
Thank you.
We paid the fee.
Thank
We
you for-
ourselves.
thank
We
you.
paid the fee.
Thank you for just agreeing with me in a roundabout way, my friend. I appreciate it. That you cheat.